Coming to you live from the heart drive.
Yeah, internet magic with a K.
Disciples of conjecture, rejoice and settle in for another gripping episode of Fruitless Pursuits.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fruitless Pursuits. I'm Jason, he's Thorne.
It's true.
Back at it again. There's been a story going around. There was a post. I saw it through Stereo Gum. But, you know, you and I both being big Queens of the Stone Age fans. Mm-hmm. One of the few spots that you and I align 100% almost. Music, as far as music taste goes anyway. So I think it is relevant to both of us. But it's kind of like, you know, unfortunately it's not about music. It's about personal stuff, right?
Totally. Well, I think that's part of the reason that it aligns even more, right? It's about, stuff that the other stuff that we kind of connect with 100%, right? Fatherhood and family stuff, really understanding the honor and responsibility that comes with that. Very few people you can look at and look and see that they're trying with their whole heart, and trying to do the right thing. I'm sure, we're adding our own with Josh.
There's definitely a bias as fans, right?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want to shade that, but, he has, clearly been going through, anyone who's paying just even a little bit of attention to it, he's been going through all this, kind of divorce and then, the custody stuff that comes with that. And he's really hasn't said very much about it. I think at one point he produced a record and said that, that record saved his life, clearly he's been going through stuff, but he hasn't really, been out and out discussing it. On the other hand, his ex, Brody Dalle and her, her boyfriend, have been on social media kind of trashing him and stuff. And I think it's got to be equally hard to sit back and have that happen and not really chime out. But he put out a statement that basically was really great. It wasn't name calling. It kind of just laid the facts out of what's been going on. And I think that's probably been something he's wanted to do for a long time. But it seems like there's kind of a settlement. There's a court kind of assigned custody, and so there's kind of a moment of kind of clarity and all that. So I think
it seemed like there was an air of optimism to his statement, which is always good when it goes to it comes to families and hardships around divorce and co-parenting and all that stuff. Clear me up on something. Is it Brody Dalle or is it Brody Dalle? I don't know. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody pronounce her name.
I guess it depends on whether we're in Australia or not. But I've heard it Brody Dalle, and that's just what I've gone with because that's how I've heard it said. So
right on. You would know better than I. But although I did see the Distillers probably 25 years ago, and I do think she's a very talented musician in her own right.
Definitely.
They were a great punk band. So this has been ongoing for 4 years, right?
Yeah, tough.
And there's been allegations of physical spousal abuse stuff, which at the time hearing it, you go, oh, you kind of hope as a fan that it's not true.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But you also realize that, those things unfortunately happen, and I don't know that anybody's 100% immune. And, Josh has never been shy about, substance abuse. And when you add that to the equation, things certainly happen sometimes that people wish they could take back. The one point I thought was worth really mentioning, though, was talking about Brody's current boyfriend.
Yeah, it's funny.
Who is this fucking kook LA hat maker guy. He makes custom hats, right?
And he kind of looks like me, so I was like, oh, maybe there's a chance. No, he totally is like this. When I went and looked at his website and all that stuff, and I like hats, so I was like, oh, this, maybe he's not a tool bag. And then I just looked at the pictures and the reading, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah. He committed the cardinal sin, and by that I mean he involved himself.
Yeah, totally.
Not just in a subtle way, is that he had forged documents, had forged
her
name,
her signature,
on what do you call it? An order,
restraining order,
restraining order, right?
Yeah, it makes him kind of like, I mean, toxic to the thing forever. You know what I mean? Like just someone you couldn't trust. Like I have an ex-wife who I co-parent with. She's remarried. I love the dude. I think he's great. I'm glad that there's this cool guy in my kids' lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine not trusting him. You know what I mean? Like being like, this dude's so underhanded that he's going to go forge signatures, and so to get a restraining order against me and my kids, like, that's just toxic forever. That's not something that goes away.
Yeah, you can't walk that back. There's no mending that relationship.
No. Like you never. Like you hope that there's things that you never do in your life. There's hope that there's things that if you do, you want to be able to take back, right? Or find the road to retribution to make them better. But man, there's some things that like maybe are forever. Like that's it's a bridge too far. I don't know. Like you want to hope for the best for everybody.
It doesn't look good for any argument that he could present as to why, like. And again, I understand, like, I think there's certain situations where, like, your new significant other may feel obligated to, like, step in if we're really talking about an abusive situation or, something where there's a legitimate threat. Like, I get that part of it. But the fact that there was deception, in a legal sense, right? We're not just talking about, like, white lies or whatever. This guy forged her signature on restraining orders for his own children.
Right. Yeah,
it's wild shit.
You think like in these kind of zones, like no one behaves that way. That's like the stuff of soap operas and teledramas, right? But I think once you find yourself in one of these situations, you realize that people do wild shit, when they're cornered. Like that crazy really fucking comes out when people, get in these situations, And so I think this is one of those instances where we're seeing that go down. And I think one thing that does kind of, back up, maybe Josh's assertions all along is that, he does now have full custody of all of these kids. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it does seem as though the court is definitely looking favorable on his home and what he's doing. But he's also, he's not coming off like, oh, and I can keep these kids away from this lady forever. He's like, hopefully we're going to be able to work this out. So, that this will be a part of it. Because no parent that's whole and loves their kids wants to keep them from another parent.
Yeah. I thought it was cool that, he has not really made any kind of statement on it until now when it's, when things are looking like they're going to resolve. And I think that's the right play.
Yeah.
Like, you don't share your family dirt just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, totally. Or to make yourself look good for a little bit,
Yeah.
And I think
exactly.
that's the thing. And he's not someone who's, like, new to controvery, right? There's the thing that happened with that photographer a while ago. We were talking about Eddie Vedder's wife recently.
Baby.
And but like, it's one of the things I like about him, like when he makes a mistake or when he pulls a left-hand turn, he goes, oh, gosh, that was the wrong thing to do,
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about him. And
that shows like a critically thinking person in my mind, right?
Totally. And someone who's got some integrity. Yep.
Well, this is obviously a lot more kind of tabloidy than what we normally do, but we're curious to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
Yeah,
Queens fan or otherwise, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for checking it out, and we'll catch you next time.
Soon.